Hola, soy la profesora Clark, and today we're going to talk about accents, written and spoken. In Spanish, you may have noticed that on some words you'll see an accent mark, and that would be called a graphic accent. But to begin, all words in Spanish have an accent. Some accents are unmarked, the majority of them are, and some are marked, and we call those graphic accents. There are certain rules to keep in mind when marking accents on words in Spanish. And there is only one accent mark in Spanish, and it looks like this. So to begin, there are three rules to keep in mind when we are considering accents and whether or not to mark them graphically. First rule is that if a word ends in N, S, or a vowel, the accent naturally falls on the second to the last syllable, which we call the penultima sílaba. So the following words have end in either a vowel or an N. So listen to these words: hijo, calle, mesa, repitan. You can actually hear that the second to the last syllable takes the stress. So when I say this word, hijo, I put it in bold, but I underline it. Hijo, calle, mesa, repitan. So these words end in N, S, and a vowel, and the natural accent is on the second to the last syllable, so it follows rule number 1. Rule number 2 is if there are words that end in a consonant other than N or S, the stress falls on the last syllable, which is the última sílaba. The following words follow rule number 2. So listen carefully. Español, regular, mayor, amor. When you listen to them, you'll find that the bolded syllable is the one that receives the stress. Español, regular, mayor, amor. These again are unmarked accents, and the stress syllable is in bold, and I've underlined it in red. We come to rule number 3, and by now you should know that there are many exceptions in Spanish. So rule number 3 simply is any exception to the first 2 rules will take a written accent, which is called acento ortográfico. The underlined syllable represents where the stress would be according to the rules, and the marked accent shows where the stress is when the word is pronounced. When the two do not coincide, a rule is broken and the written accent, the graphic accent, is needed. So the following words break the rule: televisión, teléfono, café, lápiz. Televisión, this is where the accent is on the last syllable, but it does end in N, and therefore, because it ends in N, it should follow the second to the last syllable, but it breaks the rule and it's marked graphically at the end. Teléfono ends in a vowel, so it should be on the N-O, or on the O actually, but it's actually on the second E. Café ends in a vowel. It should be on the A, but it's actually on the E. And lápiz, it should be on the I, but it's actually on the A. Another thing to keep in mind, that accent marks only go over vowels. So you will see an accented A, an accented E, an accented I, O, and U. Accents do not go over consonants. There are other uses of the graphic accent marks, which we may have already seen in certain questions. These question words, interrogatives like que, como, cuál, cuáles, dónde, quién, quiénes, cuánto, cuánta, cuántos, and cuántas, and cuándo, all of these interrogative words, these question words, always take accents. And you'll see that when questions are stated, when I write questions on the board, and when you see questions written in the book. Another use of the graphic accent mark is to distinguish between parts of speech. For example, this tu right here, as in cuál es tu número de teléfono, this is a possessive adjective. And so in order to change it to the singular informal second person personal subject pronoun, tu, we add an accent. El without an accent is actually the singular masculine definite article. El with an accent is the singular masculine third person personal subject pronoun. In general, we understand that these accents really can change part of speech, and when you change the part of speech, you can actually change the meaning of what you're trying to say. So keep in mind that an accent can change a pronunciation, but it can also change what you mean to say. At the bottom, we have an activity, and try reading the following words aloud. Decide whether or not you need a graphic accent on the word or not, and if you do, try and mark it. Okay? So I'll read these through, and you can guess, and then I will go ahead and show you the answers afterwards. Número uno, rápido. Dos, Salamanca. Tres, lápiz. Cuatro, profesión. 5, profesor. 6, telegrama. 7, café. 8, naciones. 9, México. 10, doctora. 11, página. 12, universidad. 13, pizarra. 14, cáncer. 15, Bogotá. 16, mano. If we look at these again, I'll go ahead and mark these. Número uno takes a graphic accent, rápido. Número dos does not. Número tres does, lápiz. 4, profesión. 5, profesor does not need a graphic accent. Telegrama also does not take a graphic accent, but 7, café does over the E. Naciones does not. However, if it were in the singular form, it would. If it were nación, it would take it over the O. But since it's plural, it does not take a graphic accent. 9, Mexico over the E. 10, doctora, no accent written. 11, página over the first A. 12, universidad, no graphic accent. 13, pizarra, no graphic accent. 14, cáncer, graphic accent over the A. 14, cáncer, graphic accent over the A. And 15, Bogotá, graphic accent over the A. And 16, mano, no graphic accent. Hopefully this will give you an idea as to how we use accents, and also impart to you that graphic accents especially are extremely important when you are writing Spanish, and can change the meaning, and you can also change the pronunciation. So keep this in mind. Thank you for attending this video lesson, and hasta luego.